The Pokemon market is going absolutely nuts right now. Today, let's talk about why this might be happening. I've got my theories. Let's jump into it. All right, guys, let's jump right into it. So, what's going on with this great 2024 Pokemon boom? Why is this happening? So maybe, in case you haven't been paying attention, the market is in absolute frenzy right now. We've seen a lot of different popular items just jumping up in price, huge jumps in price. Take this Charizard EX SIR from Pokemon 151. This thing has almost doubled in price in just a couple months. Pretty wild. It went down from about $120 up to over $200. You've got the Surging Sparks set. This booster box this set only came out a couple weeks ago, and this booster box has already almost doubled up to $200. While this chart here shows 110 is the low, you could get these on pre-order from different vendors for about $100. So this thing is essentially doubled in price in less than 2 weeks, which is crazy. Things are selling out all over the place. The Pokemon Center is almost completely sold out of Surging Sparks product. The only thing left is the sleeve booster packs. Everything else is sold out. We haven't seen booster boxes sell out in Pokemon Center this fast in, maybe ever. It's been a very long time if it has happened. Pretty crazy. Prismatic Evolutions, the set that doesn't even come out till January, is already completely sold out on Pokemon Center. Every single product. Now it's possible they may add some more stock in the future, but I remember I was able to snag a few of these Prismatic Evolutions Pokemon Center Elite Trainer boxes. That's a mouthful. I was able to grab a few of those, but those all sold out in like less than an hour when they were posted a while back. So it's absolutely crazy. Things are selling out at third-party sites all over the place. If you're trying to get Prismatic Evolutions, good luck. It's very hard to find right now. Pre-order prices are high and places are still selling out quickly. If you look at Google Trends and you just look up Pokemon card, right now it's taken off. We're at levels that are about what we're actually at levels higher than what the pandemic was. If you look at this red arrow here, this was the pandemic boom in Pokemon cards. We've got search trends even higher than that, than the pandemic, which is pretty crazy. So why is this happening now? What's going on? If you've been in the Pokemon hobby for a while, maybe you're new, but if you've been in it for a while, you've probably been hearing that Scarlet and Violet's bad. Last year we heard that a lot when Scarlet and Violet base came out in early spring, and then you had Paldea Evolved, Obsidian Flames, and Paradox Rift that kind of first year, and then of course there was 151. A lot of people were saying that Scarlet and Violet wasn't that great, especially compared to Sword and Shield. We'd just come off of the latter part of Sword and Shield. We had those big alt-art chase cards that everybody wanted, and so people were complaining that Scarlet and Violet wasn't good. You could get sub $100 booster boxes a lot last year. Scarlet and Violet base, Paldea Evolved, Obsidian Flames, Paradox Rift, all those released sub $100. Some of those even like down as far as like $85, $90 that you could get those boxes. And there's been really mixed opinions on the terrestrialized Pokemon, which is the whole thing where they've got like the chandelier, jeweled hat and like the glassy kind of skin and everything. And apparently it's a whole mechanism in the Pokemon TCG that I don't play. I probably should play. It's been very mixed. The players seem to love the terrestrialization. Some collectors seem to be okay with it and like it. A lot of people don't like it. I'm not as big of a fan of it. Some cards I'm okay with it, but in the most part, I'm not a big fan of it. So you hear kind of some of this negativity that was coming into Scarlet and Violet. So what's going on now? Why are all of a sudden we having this big boom? So I have a few theories on this, and I want to discuss these, but I'd love to hear your theories too. Please leave me a like. Please subscribe. I would love to grow my channel. I hope to offer a bunch of future interesting information, but please leave a comment and tell me if I missed something or you think that something else might be contributing to this market. But let's dive into it. So first of all, we got to talk about 151, right? The same set came out last, I want to say it was it October, September, maybe something like that. I can't remember the exact date it came out. but it came out last year, last kind of fall, and it was really popular, well received. You had a lot of people saying that they were coming back into the hobby. You had a lot of YouTubers commenting that they were getting all kinds of people in their comment section saying, I just got back into the hobby with 151. It's a very nostalgic set, right? It's the original 151 Pokemon from the Kanto region. This is what like I grew up with as a kid, and all that kind of millennial generation grew up with. And so these cards are very nostalgic, and it's very exciting to go back and open this set and kind of get that nostalgic feel. And I suspect there's a lot of parents that are getting their kids into it too. And so you're probably even having double the packs get ripped because both the parents and the kids now are ripping them. But these are beautiful cards, and there seems to be just a new popularity in this year. In the past couple of months, 151's really gained a lot of steam. And I think some of that might be due to the market drying up a little bit of 151 packs and product. And some people just kind of finally realizing that it's there, and more people getting their, the attention drawn to it that it frankly deserves. But I don't think we can, put this lightly. I really do think 151 has been a huge driver of growth in the Pokemon space. I really do. I believe that this entire past year, it's been bringing people back into the hobby. And yeah, I think this set on its own has been a big driver of growth. This is huge. I think Pokemon TCG Pocket is causing the market to expand right now, and pretty rapidly. This thing came out recently, right at the beginning of November. In the first 2 weeks, there was over 30 million downloads. Incredible. I don't know how many has been downloaded so far. You can see right here, I've got 10 million just in the Android App Store alone. That's what this screenshot is here. This is a really fun app. I'm not going to lie. I kind of scoffed at it before it came out, but I've been having a lot of fun with it. I haven't spent any money in it, but I have been enjoying just, my free packs per day, and even a little bit of the simplified TCG game on the phone. And it's just kind of something cool to do. I suspect that most of the downloads are probably previous Pokemon fans, but I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people, maybe they're getting into Pokemon for the first time because of this app. The accessibility of this app gets you kind of in the door, gets you interested in these shiny cards, and it makes you want to chase the actual cardboard and rip some packs. So I would not be surprised if I suspect that this is putting a lot of upward pressure on the market, building a lot of hype, getting a lot of people into Pokemon right now. Surging Sparks, man, we got to talk about it. This set is super hyped right now, but I think in a lot of ways for good reason. I wholeheartedly believe that this is the best set of 2024. I don't think anything else even comes close. If you look back at it, you look at Paldean Fates, it was a good set for sure. It had, some good chase cards in it. You had the Charizard EX, you have the Bubble Mew, which has really taken off. And then you had like the Iono, which was kind of another Iono that wasn't as popular as Paldea Evolved. You had some other kind of smaller SIRs, but that was kind of it. That was a popular set for sure. But then you get Temporal Forces, which I do think people liked, but it didn't have any of like the big popular Pokemon per se as chase cards. It had like the 3 legendary dogs, but they were changed, and people's response to those changes were mixed. Some people loved them, some people didn't really love them. You got Twilight Masquerade, which a lot of people loved, but they really mostly just loved it for that Greninja card. That was kind of the biggest thing, or the Eevee card in it. But so you've got kind of a concentration of hits in that set. It's not as broad. And then, Shrouded Fable wasn't as great of a set. I loved the illustration rares in Shrouded Fable, but it didn't have any big chase cards. Stellar Crown, no big chase cards. Again, just good IRs. So you kind of look back over 2024, and it's like, really no other sets even kind of came close to competing with Surging Sparks. Surging Sparks has a lot better hits. It's a big set with really good hits, hard pull rates, which increase that chase and increase the demand for the product, because now you need more packs to try to rip that card that you want. So I think Surging Sparks coming out at this time of year is definitely contributing to the market boom for sure. It's a beautiful set. People are excited about it. I'm excited about it. I think most everyone I talk to is pretty excited about it. And so, yeah, I think that's contributing to the boom. We got to talk about time of year. So if you've been in the Pokemon hobby very much, you'll see kind of a cycle that happens approximately yearly. Not exactly always, because there can be other events that override this, but there does seem to be a low current where during the holiday season at the end of each year, the market kind of goes up, popularity of Pokemon goes up. I think, especially if you look back here at 2023, you can see kind of when kids start going back to school, that's when Pokemon starts to kind of get more interest from people. I think during the summer, people are outside, they're playing outside, doing things, sports, things like that, enjoying the weather. And then, they come back to school, they kind of get hyped up for Pokemon again. Usually there's some pretty interesting sets right here around the holiday too. And, into the holiday, people are buying stuff with Black Friday and they're buying things for Christmas gifts. And then sometimes that will kind of last into like tax season, which is right here. We're looking at basically what's the leftovers of 2022, if you think about it, because we're starting here at January 2023. So you have kind of the leftovers of like tax season. People will spend like, money that they get back from their taxes, their refunds on Pokemon. And then it kind of dies down for the summer. And you see this almost every year, but not exactly. But it's kind of a cycle, a yearly cycle. And right now we're right in that kind of hype part of the year. We're in that part where you tend to see an upward trend and more excitement around Pokemon. And this year it's even more prominent than last year, which again, all of these things kind of stacked together. I also think Pokemon may be doing this on purpose, but they also may just be struggling to keep up with demand. Surging Sparks was short printed. It seems to be pretty evident from everything I've seen. If you listen to other YouTubers who talk about distribution and what they tried to get, a lot of them struggled to get what they wanted or even what they got with Stellar Crown, which is a much less popular set that came out just before it. So I think Surging Sparks most likely was short printed. Did Pokemon do this on purpose to try to create hype? Did Pokemon do this because they're printing so many other cards they just can't keep up? We'll never know. But either way, it does seem like Surging Sparks was short printed, and it also seems like they're unable to get enough Scarlet and Violet 151 product into people's hands to curb the demand. Like, there's just too much demand for these two sets right now. And so when you have that scarcity, it really breeds a lot of FOMO, and people start to think, I better buy this right now or it will not be available tomorrow, right? Because of scarcity. So that causes more velocity. This is kind of an economic term where, if people think the prices are going to be more expensive tomorrow on something, they spend their money today because they want to lock in that price. And so you definitely end up getting this. You get that increased velocity of money with these sets right now. And then it does attract quote unquote scalpers, or people that just want to go and buy a bunch of the product when they can find it on market and flip it for a deal quickly. I bought 151 bundles from Pokemon Center and also from, I think, Amazon at one point a while back when they went in stock, and they went out of stock really quickly. And I had planned on holding them longer, but like they basically doubled in price really quickly. And so I was like, well, I'm going to go ahead and sell these, right? So I meant almost to be more of an investor with them. And I ended up, I guess, being a flipper, scalper, or whatever you want to call it. I think it's fine to flip product when the market's hot. I just think the one thing that I don't love is when people go to Costco and they buy an entire pallet of a set that everybody wants. You see the videos of the people buying all of those 151 tins, at Costco first thing in the morning, while the rest of us are all at work because we have responsibilities and lives, and they just buy them all out and then they scalp them on the market. I think that's a little frustrating. I think Costco and some of these other vendors need to do a better job of limiting people to a certain amount so that you can spread it around and more people can enjoy it. Just my opinion. Feel free to disagree with me in the comments, but again, scarcity will increase the value of these hot products big time, and it can do it really, really quickly. Also, we need to talk about the wealth effect. If you're not familiar with what the wealth effect is, it's essentially the idea that when people's investments go up, they feel richer. And when they feel richer, they spend more money. And you see this a lot. You've seen it all the time in the psychology of markets. Right now, I've got two charts up here. I've got the S&P 500. I've got Bitcoin. They're both essentially at all-time highs for the year. So, a lot of people in crypto or stocks or mutual funds right now all feel really wealthy. They feel good about their investments. Their investments are all up. Heck, even Pokemon investments, if you've been investing in sealed product, most of your sealed product is up on the year. Just a lot of investments right now are booming, and people feel rich because of that. And even if they don't sell their investments to actually get cash, they just look at their accounts and they see these charts and they see the value going up and they feel wealthy. And when they feel wealthy, they tend to spend more. It just is the way it is. I also think that we got to talk about the fact that people get hyped for the last half to last third of each era. If you look at X and Y, Sun and Moon era, the Sword and Shield era, most of their best cards are in that last 1/3 to 1/2 of the era. It's a pretty consistent thing that Pokemon seems to do. They seem to save the really big hits, the bangers, the best cards for the end. And I think people are anticipating that for Scarlet and Violet. We've had news of a new Team Rocket set coming out next year. We've got the Prismatic Evolution set coming out in January, with all the Evolutions. And people love Evolution sets. They went crazy for Eevee Heroes in Japan and Evolving Skies in the US. And so I think people are hyped up for these sets. There's also the Partners Pokemon, or whatever they want to call it, kind of almost like a Gym Heroes Gym Challenge set coming out next year, where it's like an owner's Pokemon set. And these sets all sound really amazing, and people are excited about that. And I think Surging Sparks is kind of the start of that, end of the era. And so people are kind of coming back in. Some people have literally sat on the sidelines with their money just waiting for these sets that are Pokemon fans. And that's kind of all flooding in at this time. So I think when you put all these together, any one or two of these could have, a pretty good effect on the market and cause, the market to go up. But you put them all together and you can get some pretty crazy hype. And it makes a lot of sense to me why the market is booming so much in Pokemon right now. So be careful, when you're buying the hype. I think we could probably see this boom continue for the next year with all of these great sets coming up, as long as the economy doesn't just completely collapse, which it could. You never know, right? Like, obviously, a strong recession is a possibility. You should be very careful. I wouldn't buy elevated things if you might need that money in the next year. I'd be very careful buying some of these really expensive things like the 151, the Surging Sparks at these current prices, unless you're willing to hold for a long time and you can kind of weather the storm. We'll probably see some reprints for Surging Sparks, and we're definitely going to see a little bit of reprint for 151 in February with the Blooming Waters collection. Whether or not any of those will be able to satisfy the market, I don't know. The market seems to be kind of crazy right now. The need for packs is really high. A lot of people are into Pokemon. So I think 2025 is going to be really bright. I think it's going to continue to boom. That's been rhetoric that I've heard from other YouTubers, and I agree with them. I think when you stack all these things together, I think it makes a lot of sense why Pokemon's booming. So guys, when we stack all these together, I think it makes a lot of sense why the market is booming right now. Maybe I missed something that you think is contributing to this Pokemon boom. Please leave a comment. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. If there's something I missed, and I'd love for you to like the video. Please subscribe to my channel. I hope to offer a bunch of other interesting and useful content to you. And hope to see you in the next video. If you're interested in this type of analysis, I did a recent video on Umbreon VMAX and on that card's recently, high prices that it hit, and why I think that card is justified with that price. So you might find that interesting. Check it out.